Welcome back, gamers. Today we're diving into Perennial Order, a 2D Souls-like buzz rush game developed by Garden Fiend Games and published by Grotesque. If you're a fan of punishing difficulty, grotesque body horror, and deeply immersive worlds, then this game likely caught your attention when it first dropped on the radar. But of course, the real question is, does this game live up to its dark, alluring promise, or is it a beautiful but ultimate frustrating experience? Let's break it down. Perennial Order takes place in a decaying world overrun by nature-infested eldritch horrors. You play as an undying knight, a being coupled together by flesh, metal, and plant matter by an unknown higher power. And your mission is simple, but brutal: slay the world's abominations. However, there's a significant twist in how the game tells its story. Much like the Souls games it draws inspiration from, the lore is presented indirectly, leaving you to piece together the mysteries through environmental clues, cryptic NPC conversations, and your interpretation of the grotesque creatures you face. And the world itself feels like it's running from the inside out, with each corner, each boss, and each desolated landscape oozing decay. The developers have masterfully invoked a sense of unease, combining various horror elements, from love creation monstrosities to fungal-infused body horror. The dark nature theme aesthetic creates a chilling atmosphere, where every new area feels like a beautifully yet terrifying descent into madness. From towering fungus-encrusted giants to eldritch trees with eyes watching your every move, the game is a visual and thematic feast for horror lovers. And speaking of visuals, this game excels in its art direction. The painterly 2D art style invokes a surreal and oppressive atmosphere, and the character and enemies move like marionettes controlled by an unseen cosmic force, all thanks to the game's effective use of 2D spine animation. What makes the visuals stand out is how every aspect of the environment and enemy design fits seamlessly into the overarching theme. It's quite rare to see a game that fully commits to its aesthetic, and the payoff here is enormous. Perennial Order communicates its tale through its landscape, overgrown ruins, the corpse-collapsed creatures, and the corrupted flora. You can almost feel the weight of this blighted world bearing down as you traverse its decaying landscapes. However, the music, though competent, does little to enhance the atmosphere, often fading in the background rather than amplifying the tension. While the visual presentation shines, the game's audio falls flat in comparison. And when it comes to the gameplay, Perennial Order first and foremost is a buzz rush game, meaning that while there's some exploration elements, the heart of the experience lies in fighting bosses. And the boss fights, well, they're nothing short of punishing. Each boss is a unique challenge that often require perfect reflexes, pattern recognition, and in some cases a bit of luck. But here's the kicker: any hit you take is an insta-kill. Yeah, that's right, one hit and you're dead. At first glance, the one-hit dead mechanic feels like an added layer of tension in an already challenging game. But once you've sunk hours into it, it becomes clear that some bosses weren't designed with this in mind. Take for example, a boss that revolves entirely around parrying. You can only deal damage to this enemy by perfectly parrying their attack. Miss one parry, and you're sent back to the start of the fight. Now add in the fact that this is the first time you're introduced to parrying as a mechanic. It feels less like a test of skill, and more like an exercise in frustration. And another boss places you on a checkerboard, where the objective is to avoid chess pieces while attacking the king. It's a creative gimmick at first, but this fight drags on for multiple phases, each one adding more pieces to dodge, and by the final phase, you're essentially playing dodgeball with 16 enemies. And of course, the one hit from any of them ends the fight. The tension here stops being accelerating and becomes more exhausting. And this is not to say that the boss fights are amiss. Many of them are cleverly designed and offer a genuine sense of accomplishment when you finally defeat them. But more often than not, the insta-kill mechanic feels at odds with the level of precise required, turning some of the fights into a slog of trial and error. And while the boss fights are the main attraction, the game does give you some freedom to explore its decaying world between encounters. As you journey from one boss to another, you'll navigate traps, perform some light platforming, and interact with NPCs who provide cryptic hits and additional lore. However, much like the combat, the exploration can feel a bit thin at times. And the traps and platforming don't evolve much through the game, making travel between bosses feel repetitive. And there are moments when you'll want more variety in the gameplay loop, but instead what you get is largely the same from start to finish. And one of the most interesting aspects of this game is its co-op mode. The entire game can be played with a friend, and this luckily can significantly change the experience. While the bosses are just as difficult, having a partner can reduce some of the frustration. For example, if you die, your co-op partner can continue the fight, and you can even help them by boosting their attack power. There's a real sense of camaraderie as you work together to overcome the game's brutal challenges. But the co-op does have some issues, specifically latency. But despite this hiccup, the co-op is still a highlight and arguably the best way to experience the game. And when it comes to the difficulty, well, if you're a fan of the Souls-like genre, you're playing no stranger to difficult games. But this game takes this to another level with its punishing insta-kill mechanic. There's no doubt that this game is challenging, but not always in the way you hope. The difficulty often feels artificial, relying more on trial and error than genuine skill progression. While learning a boss's pattern is crucial, once you figure them out, the challenge is less about the skill execution, and more about avoiding mistakes. So is Perennial Order worth your time? That's actually hard to answer. In one hand, the game offers a visually stunning, rich atmospheric world that fans of dark fantasy and horror will love. The art direction is masterful and the lore is intriguing. But on the other hand, the gameplay, while ambitious, feels at odds with itself. The insta-kill mechanic and sometimes gimmicky boss designs creates a frustrating experience that may turn off even the most dedicated Souls-like fans. For me, the game is a 7.1 out of 10. If you're someone looking for a fresh take on the boss rush genre and are willing to endure its more frustrating elements, then this is a game I can recommend to you. But if you're someone who prefers a smoother, more balanced challenge, then I cannot recommend this game to you, as it's a game that's just okay, but not great. If you've played the game, did you like it? Would you recommend it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.